What's up? 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 Welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday night. My name is Ultimate DJs. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. Welcome in. Looking at all the beautiful hype in the chat, looking at all the wonderful memes, all the beautiful check-ins. Let's get it on with the Talking Trek server sound off. You guys, let's hit it fast and hard. We're going to kick it off with Raj on server 9, Noon Whistle on 29. What's up? Spectre on server 11, Game Junior on 30, Rotifer on 17, Aquila Hawk on server 21, Devil in the Belfry on 14, Dr. Juby hanging out on server 60 and 61. How you doing? Scaly back from the Outback on 193, Dirty Bird Bill on server 15, Hunter on server 28. What's up, Krunk? Let's get Krunk on Counselor Hef. Server 20, thank you. Waffly on 42. DeHaggis on server 16. Papa Smurf on 61. Shinzola on 153. Tenacious G joining us from 16 tonight. Candy White on 24. Beck Likes Plants joining us from server 11. What you doing? What you doing, Valley Girl? Lost Keymaster on 14. Bowden on 35. MDB on server 51. Maximus Bull on 22. JP Smith on server 158. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Zandy says, I'm free falling. I know, I get it. Don Zeno, what's going on 136? Benny Hill on 42. Matters on 56. Thank you. Kiebo on 199. Paulo on server 34. Kem Q on 57. Matt Hatter on 95. Jules Verne checking in on server 44. Thank you. What's up? Sandy's on server 12. Thank you. Doing well. Johnny 5 on server 44. Keith on 49. Silver Tab on server 40. Shadow Raven 31 in the house. Maximus Bull on 22. Angry Lou on 36. Man, what a great crowd tonight. Thank you guys so very much. Annie McCanny Face on 188. Thank you guys so very, very much. 100 additional, a little over 100 additional messages in a Talking Trek server sound off, and an amazing 265 people in our live studio audience. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Devious, a first-time chatter saying, I'm excited as well. Hoping this podcast, hoping or pooing. Not exactly sure if he's hoping, if it was a typo, or if he's literally poo-pooing on the podcast. Poo-pooing on the podcast, and looking forward to seeing what the comments are.
Well, he hasn't even heard the stupid news yet, so he can't.
I know, right?
Opinion.
Like, come on, you can't poop on anything yet. We got so much good stuff, all right? So here's what we've got going on. Now, are you guys having a little bit of trouble on Discord? Because everything looks like it's going through okay. But if you're having trouble, we also have audio feed over here on Twitch as well. I would like to welcome in our simulcast audience, whether you are in Twitch, whether you're in Discord, whether you're in iTunes, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and all the other things. Thank you guys so very much for being here. My name is Ultimate DJs. This is Talking Trek, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast, with a very special treat for you guys here tonight. Very, very special indeed. We have with us our brand spanking new community manager, Obsidian Hamster. We're going to get to him in just a couple of moments.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me for a second. I was like, I'm not special.
Yeah, you're also not a guest. You're a live-in, man. Okay,
like I'm on the couch.
I was going to say, seriously, man, you got to start showering before you sleep on the couch. It's starting to get stank, man.
Hey, I keep that thing nice and fresh. Like a kitty litter.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Yeah, fresh. That's it. That's yeah, maybe one of those things. Listen, I do want to thank everybody for hanging out. We've got a lot to do tonight, and we've got the special VIP guest Hammy here for about 45 to 60 minutes or so. There he is, popping up in the chat. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you real quick. Let's go ahead and we'll bring him up. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Obsidian Hamster. What's up, man? Oh, man. How are you, buddy? Are you doing good?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks, man. I'm kind of pretty excited. Pretty excited. We've got some big stuff going on over the next few days in
Yes.
STFC, and I'm happy to be here. This is kind of crazy. This is big news. This is my first time on Twitch ever.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit ago. You've not actually done any public appearances yet, except for just like in the Discord. But this is your first time on camera, your first time on video.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, up until a few months ago, nobody even really knew what you looked like either, because you were in Los Angeles. When was that? September now? I guess, was that September? Is that when I was? Or October?
Yeah, September, October, something like that.
And that was the first time any of our player base got to meet you, right? And including myself. So it was really, really nice to get to meet you there. Listen, we have a lot that we're going to do tonight. We've got a lot to talk to you about. There's a lot that we want to get answers on. And we also want to learn a little bit about you as our new community manager as well. But as Ryan Seacrest says almost all the time, we're going to get to all of those things and so much more right after this commercial break. I would like to welcome you into this very special episode of Twitching Trek, Talking Trek, Teaching Trek, and all of the treks. We've got our brand new community manager, VIP, Obsidian Hamster, here to talk to you guys here tonight all about the state of the game and Star Trek Fleet Command. We're going to take a very quick break, and right on the other side, back to all the funsies. You guys give me just a few moments, and we'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for listening to Talking Trek Live. I am your friendly neighborhood cat person, Ultimate DJ. With the buttons. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And none of it's
in
working.
Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com.
Talking Trek is brought to you in part by MN Toy Posse. MN Toy Posse is the biggest and best Facebook page all about toys. Meet other like-minded individuals that share in your same interest. Have hard-to-find rare toys or know someone looking for your special piece of nostalgia. Old toys or new toys, hard to find toys, doesn't matter. With MN Toy Posse, you can find it, buy it, or sell it. Visit today at facebook.com/MNToyPosse. That's facebook.com/MNToyPosse for the toy collector in all of us.
You looking for ways to enhance your gaming experience inside Star Trek Fleet Command? Well, Surtail has the answers for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. Gummies to sharpen the mind when you can't come up with 14 words where 3 would do. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products that you would need to improve your gaming experience. Surtail also distributes bath salts, CBD creams and oils, weight loss products, protein shakes, workout aids, Delta 8 gummies, and so much more. Message Surtail on Discord or go to crazybunch.org.
What is actually happening right now? Oh my gosh, I get it. I see it. Spotify. All right, you know what? This is garbage. This is absolute pure garbage. Spotify, Hammy, this is baloney. Spotify won't play the song because we're broadcasting live on Discord.
Son of a gun.
It's stopping. No, listen, this is not my fault. You guys are saying I'm being a noob. No, take a look. I want to show you guys. This is not me. This is not my fault. Okay? Look at this. Look at this garbage. Spotify playback paused while transmitting audio. What in the absolute... Oh, this is eerie right now. People are what they're seeing on the screen. This is eerie, okay? And it's not a skill issue, Akila. It's not my fault. Spotify and Discord hate each other.
I can take a little bit of the blame if you want for requesting intro music.
You requested a song. That, by the way, was the song that you requested. And it was the song that I didn't have, and I could only get it from Spotify. And now Spotify is fighting with Discord. That's right. I'm blaming Hammy. All right. I'm blaming Hammy.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it.
Ladies
we're starting early today.
I mean, what? Okay. Joe Rogan can do it. Why can't I? Probably because I don't pay for stuff. All right. I don't pay for stuff. I mean, I do, but just not Spotify. All right. I don't pay for Spotify because I pay for Apple. But we couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. Doesn't matter. Welcome back, everybody. My name is DJ's. Already making a mockery of this, our very first meet and greet. You know what it is? I'm nervous.
No.
That's what it is. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because we have with us right now Obsidian Hamster, our brand new community manager and hero to the people, champion to the masses. It is. That's right, K9. Says, yo, Hammy, great to see you in the flesh. Absolutely no pressure. Yeah, I'm totally... Madam Plancida says, I'm glad he's nervous. I am a little bit nervous because we have the return of the State of the Game here tonight, and we've got a very special guest for the first time, also his very first public appearance. So I'm doing all the mess-ups for him. All right. But I would like to welcome you to the stage. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. First of all, you're not new. You're not really new to Scopely. You're not new to Star Trek Fleet Command. A lot of players have actually gotten to know you quite well over the last year or two. Tell us a little bit about what you've done in Star Trek Fleet Command here so far and why some players might think they're your best friend already.
Well, I've actually been with Scopely for about 2 years, a little over 2 years. And the reason why people may have heard of me in passing, but never really gotten to know me is because I was primarily on the private server for the time that I've been here. So I've gotten to know that community really well. I love that community, but I've also wanted to transition over to official because I love the Star Trek Fleet Command community. I love the game, and getting the opportunity to interact with the community on a bigger level is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. This is something actually Beck and I had a conversation about earlier today. I wanted to come over to official. Some people said that they had to force march me.
You crazy!
They had to force me. I know they had to. There's a theory that I was forced to take this position on, like I lost a bet or I pissed off the CEO or something like that. But no, I genuinely wanted to come over to official and get to know the CCs and get to know the players there. I like to think that I've done some really good work on the private server. I've able to get fixes in, not overnight. Sometimes they will take time, but I like being an advocate for the players. I like to be their voice, and I want to help fix things and make things better for everybody.
You know, it is something there is something to be said for you because we have had a lot of people who have actually kind of expressed the fact that they miss you on the VIP server. Like they, K9 Tooth, for example, is a big active person, very active in our community, but has talked about you a lot, very positively, very frequently. And some people blame us for stealing you, right? Remick from Server 35 says, give us our hammy back. So, yeah, you've done some really, really good things. Dr. Juby says, Hammy's done some great things on VIP. And so that in and of itself has kind of lended it's allowed you to kind of get ready for the larger onslaught, which will be Gen Pop, right? Tell me a little bit about, you've been transitioning into this role for the last couple of months, and experiencing official Discord. I'm trying to think. I had to remember what the official name of it was. Official Discord, because we just all call it a dumpster fire. That's your new home now. That's your new home now. Congratulations, you moved into a dumpster. Yeah. That being said, how have you found yourself adapting? There are countless thousands more people, and a lot of these people you probably don't have one-on-one relationships with. Like when you were on the VIP server, a lot of players knew you. A lot of your conversations happened in DM, and you built relationships with people. Have you found that difficult on official, or is that something that you intend to do with the more active people over there?
Great question. Right now, I guess phase one, and I'm not by any means alone on this. Sierra has been backing me up, and Beck has been backing me up, and even Eco has been backing me up too. I want to get to know everybody, and I want to be as visible in chat as possible. If somebody pings me, I try and jump on that as soon as I can. Sometimes I'll be in a meeting, sometimes it might take a few hours. But just letting the players know that I'm attentive and I'm listening to them is kind of the first stage of my introduction to official. I would love to get to the point and answer as many DMs as I can, because that was something that was a little bit more manageable on the private server. But right now, just getting to know, and I actually know a few people just based off their personalities, based off of their replies. So that's coming along right now, and I'm really interested. And I know I don't want to get super duper spammed in my DMs yet, but one of the things that I'm going to need to really learn is the experience on kind of the Ops 30s, Ops 40s, because I've kind of been hanging out with 50s, 60s for the majority of my time. So getting to know everyone on official and getting to know their pain points, getting to know their experience is something that I really want to do. So yeah, it will take time. We're starting with chat and being just everywhere I can be, and then we'll move on to the DMs and stuff like that if I can.
Listen, some people in chat are already taking it as some kind of a challenge. Okay, everybody say hi in DM. Let's not get into all that. So what I meant to dive into a moment ago, and then I kind of sidetracked you by myself on accident. Tell us a little bit about you. You've played the game. Like, you've been here 2 years, as you mentioned. You play the game, and a lot of people who have experience with you on the VIP server, they know you play the game. You know the game. Like, you play it. You feel a lot of the same pain points. You have ships. You're going out and doing dailies. Tell the community a little bit about your gameplay experience and about you as a player to kind of convince them a little bit that you might know a thing or two about what you're talking about.
Yeah, I play the game daily, weekends, nights. I'm checking in and doing stuff. I'll be honest right now, I don't PvP. I keep track of the good PvP.
Why not? Why not, Haley? Could it be that PvP is busted?
That may be, but that's not why I don't PvP.
Are you an expert miner? Did Beck's video tell you that you were an expert miner?
I was an expert. What?
In the superlative, the legacy video we did at the 5-year anniversary. Were you an expert miner?
Yes. Yes.
No, Hammy, God bless it.
I mine like it's nobody's business. I will mine every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Like, crystal, gas, or I'm mining it, baby. The thing is, I kind of grew up playing a lot of RTSs where you always send the harvester out, like in, Command and Conquer or Homeworld, stuff like that. You got to get those resources, right? Now, the refinery, is not as exciting. But this is what I want to do. I don't want to get off in the tangent of mining, because I know it's super exciting, and not everybody can handle all this mining chat.
Do you still mine red data?
What's that?
Do you still mine red data?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay, now we know he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Now we know he's a real miner. Okay.
Yeah. Here's what I would love to see someday. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I want to see a mining strike team that basically it would be like a trap miner. They would increase mining, but they would also massively increase defense. And so instead of someone just coming in and picking you off, it would blow up in your face. Like, I love auto defenses, but I think the mistake with those was that we should not let players know when they're on.
Okay, I actually agree with you on that. The icon should not be there, okay? Because then I just know not to hit that ship. So I actually agree with you on that, on the automated defenses. But that is...
And everything else?
Well, don't push your luck. It's your first day, Hammy. It's your first day, okay? You're going to have to give me a minute to...
Fair.
Mining strike
team. I'll take what I can get.
Mining strike team. All right. So, so you've played the game for a long time. You might not necessarily want to give your specific ops level, but in what generation are you playing the game right now? Have you been?
I'm upper G5 right now.
Okay.
And the thing, I'll tell you what my experience was, because I came in, about 2.5 years ago, and it's rough starting these days, because there's so many loops, there's so much content in there to get caught up on. I will fully admit that I do have some blind spots when it comes to playing the game. There's certain loops that I just can't get caught up on. Like my favorite right now, I like Bajoran a lot. I like X-Borg. I like Section 31 as well. And I think I had this conversation with Rev the other day. I think if you do enough wave defense, which I know is kind of a big ask, I think the Section 31 faction store is one of the best faction stores when it comes to faction rep, when it comes to syndicate, when it comes to strike team officers are pretty good. I like the Section 31 store. DJ, thoughts on that?
I don't know that I would go and say it's like my favorite faction. But we could definitely take a look a little bit around the faction store here in a little bit, and you could point out when we talk about when you say that these are the things that you love. We can try to identify that a little bit. But I do want to kind of circle back to something you said, which is something that the players are already honing in on in the chat. Is you're saying, man, there are so many loops, right? And and that was actually something that you and I kind of talked about before we had, when we were kind of planning all this stuff, was, golly, man, loops and more loops. And maybe, you know what? Listen, I'm a little bit more transparent and broad with the audience. Like, if I plan a segue, I'll do it. Maybe that was your very beautiful and natural professional way to segue into one of our questions tonight. But yeah, loops, very well done. Okay. Loops, man. We've talked a lot about this, and this is something that a lot of players have kind of talked about, especially over the last 6 months. We're talking 5 loops in the last 6 months. What is that mindset? We've never had this many in the history of the game. You've played 2 years. This is abnormal. So what is that shift? Why is game design just creating hostile after hostile after hostile? Like, you say there's so many loops to play, it's impossible to keep up with all of it. What's the mindset over there of just creating loop after loop after loop? It's too much.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact mindset is about loop after loop after loop. For forever, since it came out, I think one of the best arcs we've ever done was the original X-Borg that really helped consolidate a lot of loops. Like, we need more updates like that really help streamline the game, because it's unmanageable right now. And when we keep piling them on, arc after arc, it becomes really difficult to get through, your day if you're constantly just jumping to the next one, jumping to the next one, jumping to the next one. The kind of good news is that myself and the other CMs have been hammering home this exact feedback to the team. and I think they've been listening. I'm cautiously optimistic for the future that the grind and the endless loops will be maybe not solved completely, but made a little bit more streamlined, I think.
Are we talking? Are we talking upcoming content like Thune or soon, or I mean, like on the edge of our seats when you say, "Hey, we've got some stuff that is going to come"? Because let's be fair, and we can talk a little bit more in detail about this coming up in a little bit. But last month there was a claim at consolidation, and we'll talk about the Zindi Armadas a little bit more in depth a little bit later. But
Yep.
but I feel like, and I think I've shared this with you, I feel like the definition that of consolidation that Scopely was looking at might have been different from the one that we were looking at. That didn't feel like a consolidation, and I know that you and I have kind of talked a little bit about ways that we can make that better. Are you expecting this next release of consolidation? Are we expecting that to outperform what Zindi did, or replace what Zindi did, or are we concerned about their definition of consolidation?
Right, and that's a great question, because when I initially heard that we were doing an export expansion, what was that? In January or February,
Something like that, yeah.
we added all that. I was excited. I was excited because we added the Monavine, and we added Voyager, and maybe another ship, but I can't remember off the top of my head. That didn't feel as momentous as the original X-Borg edition. That really felt like it streamlined the game. As for timing, all I'm going to say is that as feedback is received, being able to pivot and implement it is always going to be a mixed bag. Uh, I could see it in the foreseeable future, but I'm not going to say soon or immediately. But we have made sure that the team knows about this, and it's a big priority. So, final note, I'd be like, I'm optimistic about it.
Okay. I know the chat is hoping, and listen, I we've had other guests on the show before, and Echo is a beloved friend and guest on the show, but none of them have ever earned the Ripper stamp of approval like you have. All right, Ripper came out here. Yeah, I know, crazy.
Ooh.
Ripper has come out and been like, Hammy's good people, great guy. He follows through. You work really hard. Not that nobody else does, but the players that know you, and Ripper knows you, and I've been working with you over the last couple of months. There is kind of a fire, a drive, like you, because I think you help bridge the gap in actually playing the game, which I love. I feel like you feel our pain when we're upset about something. You're like, yeah, I feel that too. Right? Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a player and how you've looked at the last 6 months? You've looked at all these extra loops, and do you empathize with the community? Like, has your experience been the same?
Yep. I really have kind of felt that pain, and I'm the type of person that has to experience it to really learn. Like, you can't just put a video or a deck up and expect me to understand some of the bigger changes to the arc. Like, I have to go through that myself. Like, when we released the Silent Hostiles, I was just getting my butt kicked by them. Like, I could get in, I think even as a higher ops, I was maybe 57 at that point. I was barely able to do a couple of those 55s. And then I was kind of had to compete in those systems to get those. And I couldn't even imagine what Ops 55 people were doing, because they were pretty brutal early on. So being able to experience things like that, I can take that back to the team, and I can talk about my experience personally. I mean, we can supplement that with feedback from the players. But if I have that personal experience that I can relay back, then we can have a discussion about it. As for, and that's very nice what you said about Ripper. I like to call him Rippy Rip. That's not true. I just made that up.
He's like, he just spit out his whiskey. He just
Yeah.
chugged a rippy rip. What?
Really lit.
Oh, that is a thing now that you don't realize what you've done, Hammy. That is that's a new thing. Oh God, sorry, Alex. Rippy
but
rip.
honestly, I think I had been working for Scopely for 2 months, and I wanted to do a call with Ripper. I saw his interaction in the community, and just his involvement in the game, and I knew that he was going to be someone important to reach out to and get to know and build a relationship with. And I'm glad I did. Like he's great. And he will be kind of moving out towards my corner of the world pretty soon, which will be super cool. That'll be awesome. But to some of the other nice things you said, one of the things that I believe in who I am, like I need something to kind of hunt down and chase when it comes to getting fixes in the game. Like I feel like if you're going to build a reputation with a community, you have to show results. And like I said earlier, sometimes they're not going to come overnight. Sometimes you have to fight for them for a few months. But I pride myself on being able to come back and say, we got this. It took a while, but we got it, people. And that's served me pretty well on the private server, and I want to keep doing that on official.
The community is asking this question, and I am going to, and I will point out to the chat as well. We are going to do a segment with you here in just a little while, and we've kind of cutely dubbed it. I might change it to the Rippy Rip segment now. I don't know, rip it real good. But we are going to do a lightning round where you guys are going to have a chance to ask your questions directly to Hammy towards the end of the show. So you guys be on the lookout for that. But a lot of people are talking about when you're discussing these loops and consolidation and stuff. You mentioned Xborg, the freebooters. Chat is literally unanimously screaming right now for Freebooters 2.0. When you're talking about some of the consolidation that's coming, some of the stuff that you've seen or some of the stuff that you've had a hand in working on, without saying too much, do you feel like it could be perceived as positively as freebooters were? Like, do you see a freebooters 2.0 type concept in the future of the game?
That's a great question. And for me, it's kind of a tricky answer because I will see things in in a deck or a presentation maybe a few weeks before it's actually coming out, and the team's actually getting better at involving kind of the CMs and I think even some players in earlier in the process. Now I need to get then feedback from players and experience it myself to see if it's as notable or as good as I think it is. One of the things that I love doing is I work very closely with the mods on the private server, and they get some of the kind of the early previews. I have my version, but I want to hear what their response is, what they think about it, because they know this game, like Jess, On Call Doc, Stony, Phil, like getting their feedback helps me kind of understand whether something is going to be as impactful as I hope. I am optimistic about the consolidation that's coming. But again, I need to see it in practice. I need to experience it. And I want to hear from the players to see what they think, if it is. Because I don't know how this sounds, but a lot of my opinion on things is dictated from player response. Like, just because I think it looks cool does not necessarily mean it's going to be appreciated by the players.
I appreciate you saying that, because it does feel like sometimes that there is content that comes out that seems to stick, even though there's really a lot of issue with it, you know. And I said we were going to talk about Zindi Armadas later. We could maybe fast forward to that, and talk about that, since we kind of naturally segue into it. Let's talk about Zindi Armada specifically. Sure. Like, why? How? what? Like, what was anybody thinking with this? Like, this this seems to be, and I know I've said this. I've been really, really adamant about this. As a matter of fact, you could go back and you could talk to Echo about one of the interviews that I did with him when we talked about Starbase assaults. I mean, there was a vein popping out of my head. That was one of our most tense interviews of all time. And and I feel like Zindi Armada's are right up there, man. Like, I feel like it is one of the most worthless additions to the game. And it didn't have to be, you know. It could have been really good. So I got a two-pronged question for you. One, what are we doing about that? But two, and maybe more importantly, kind of related to your last response, how did that get out? Like, how did that come to be if we're seeing game design really absorb a lot of the feedback from you and other players like you?
Yeah. Those are both two great questions. First off, there is an ongoing discussion that I've been following about adjusting the Zindi Armadas, that's the good news. The bad news is that I don't have a timeline for when that is actually going to come out. The Zindi Armadas was by far one of the most popular pieces of feedback that we heard for the entire enterprise loop. On some level, I think that the enterprise loop was kind of designed with really, really difficult enemies, like new hostiles that are a lot harder than usual that we're introducing. I think the Zindi Armada kind of falls into that category as well. But what I don't think the kind of the risk reward is there for it right now. So we made sure that the team knows this. And like I said, we are still working on it. I don't have a date for when, if the adjustments come, but we are following that really closely. And then, the game design question, man, I don't really have an answer for that one. That is like, I wasn't in that meeting where this was being discussed. I just know that some of the GD people that were involved are reassessing them right now, and hopefully I'll have more of an update in a little bit. But I don't think it's coming like next arc. Maybe the arc after that, but again, no idea off the top of my head.
This is a question that you and I didn't talk about, so feel free to tell me that we've got to reassess this one if you need to. But as a player, which I know is a difficult question, anytime somebody says to you, hey, communication expert from Scopely that's sanctioned by legal lawyers and all that stuff, in your opinion, not as a CM, right? Like, you've got to love those kinds of questions. As a player, though, you've played a long time, you're an upper G5 player. As a player, what would you like to have seen improved about that particular loop? The Zindi Armadas, is it the sourcing? Would you like to run more of these? Is it the rewards? Is it the challenge of the hostiles? Which, for the record, I'm going to say no. I like a challenging hostile. I just felt like it was very prohibitive for some players to be able to participate in, and then I can't even get enough of them to be excited about. You know, one a week and a rare every few months. Like, to me, sourcing, I think, is a big piece of this that could go a long way to fixing this loop. As a player, do you feel like additional sourcing could make you more excited about the feature? Or what would you do if you were sitting in the big chair? Is there a simple fix? And what do you think it is for you?
I don't know if there is a simple fix because, like I said, I've heard feedback about multiple aspects of the Zindi Armadas. I think sourcing might help because it's pretty scarce right now to get those directives to start the final weapons. That could help. And one of the pieces of feedback I have heard also is that, again, it's not, the rewards aren't sufficient to the effort that goes into them. So I think those would probably be my two answers.
I appreciate that. Do you? Well, one other thing that I want to say, and it's not, to me, it's not as big a deal as it is like kind of a scratch your head kind of moment. But And here's the thing: nobody has sourced enough of these to know this, except for your content creation and moderation team, because you guys gave us some to test out with for our audience.
Mm-hmm.
And what we learned as a result of that is that there's a directive cap. This would be the first target in the game that has a directive cap. Now, I'm not going to necessarily ask why that is there, but can we just add that to the list of like why and just cross that right off? A directive cap. There's no others in the game. I want to hoard my directives for events, man. Okay. And listen, to be honest with you, that's a weird thing that game design did. I don't understand it, but it seems to be very important to the audience. If you're looking at the chat right now, a lot of people are fussy about the directive cap. So it's kind of odd, but it is kind of weird that was placed there. And I would love to be able to politely and calmly discuss the Zindi Armada.
There you go. Inside voice.
Inside voice with game design at some point, because it just seems like such a weird design, you know. So I appreciate you taking that back. In other words, Scopely is completely and fully aware that this is a feature that missed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The only thing is I don't have a timeline on when, because I checked. I think I even checked that thread yesterday, and there's still work to do, and hopefully I'll have an announcement as ASAP regarding that.
Let me transition kind of in that same vein, but slightly different. But we talk about lead time, right? Some of the things that we want don't happen quickly. And we talk about some of these game features that need a major overhaul, that need a revamping. I feel like if we go back a few more months, Forbidden Technology was one of those features that did get a nice improvement, but was pay-gated. Okay, the Ferengi Whip solved that for a lot of people, but that feature still available for sale, still no free-to-play kind of grind on that. Things move slowly, right? These fixes for features that might be failed, they move real slow. And then other times we just have tech issues, and this is kind of where I wanted to circle back onto was with some of the engineering. For example, we're launching incursions in, 24 hours? Are the exos fixed? We haven't heard any communication about the exos, and I know I'd asked you about this the other day. We still haven't gotten the makeup exo day from last incursion. So are we expecting that specifically? And then can we talk a little bit about engineering, just the bugs that exist?
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, exos were fixed, actually. I posted an announcement yesterday saying that we had found what the cause was, and they should be running smoothly for incursion.
You know you're a very lovable guy when the chat is like, Hammy already talked about that, DJ. Get with the program. You suck, DJ. God, you're awful.
Thanks, chat.
Okay, yeah,
Thanks,
chat is all they are in your corner right now, buddy. Yo, DJ, clearly he plays the game more than you, DJ. The X's are working. Where have you been? God. Sorry, guys. You asked me to ask. It's in my list. Okay? Jeez.
And we do have the exos running today.
You set me up, Hammy. It was in the list. You should have told me. We could skip that one, man. We could skip that one. They're working.
No, that looked like an easy win.
Oh, God. That's terrible. We're going to get along great, okay? Listen,
I think so.
That's 2 points,
I
Hammy.
think so.
Yeah, game on, buddy. All right. Oh, game on. Yeah, well played. Well played. Okay, fair.
But there was a second point to engineering. I think that first off, we've had relatively, and I'm using the term relatively very strongly, relatively smooth releases for, I think, most of 2024. That's not to say we haven't had bugs. We haven't had issues like the ceiling rod issue, which impacted a lot of players, but we did get that fixed. We're still working on the aquatic Zindies showing up in Q's trials. Like that is, I think it's slowed down a bit, but it's still not 100% fixed. So there are things that we still need to address, but as far as I think stability is gone, we've been pretty good this year. Now that's not, that's separate from maybe content, and that's a different type of conversation. But as far as game breaking stuff, I don't think we've had too many big hits.
There's only a couple that kind of come to mind, and I might have to concede that point to you, because engineering has been there's been less catastrophic events, right? I think I could agree to that. Spectre reminds me of the Unity engine update. That was pretty serious. Agreed. But that's the only one that actually comes to my mind. You're right. This calendar year, the last time I remember it was like a super big, major extended emergency maintenance that happened, I think, during the fourth quarter. But we talk about waves, for example. Waves a great feature. I still like the feature. I know a lot of people fuss about it. You and I were talking about it. It's a great feature in my mind, my play style. I like it. But there were players that are having difficulty keeping up with that. Our very own Scaly Back, his is, I suppose, probably more of a player-facing technical issue. His phone just doesn't play him. Like if he tries to play, just kills it. There are players out there that are struggling with certain pieces of the game, and I wonder what steps are being taken to try to mitigate some of that stuff broadly, but also what are you able to offer to players, or customer service able to offer players who are being impacted by what appear to be individual-based items?
That is a great question, and a difficult one to answer, because when you have one-offs that are impacting one or two people, or maybe even three, it's hard to kind of devote the resources to that when we have bigger issues like the aquatic Zindi showing up. Like that's impacting hundreds, if not thousands, of players. I would love to be able to work one-on-one with people. Occasionally it's the device itself that runs into snags, but doing those one-off fixes, it's not impossible. And honestly, I want to figure out a way to get that done, because I want everybody to have a good experience, or a smooth experience with this game. Outside, like if everything is supposed to be running smoothly, like Wave Defense should be running smoothly. I understand that maybe some older devices might have a hard time with it, because it is pretty tech intensive with having so many players and so many hostiles coming in like that. But to get like that one-off, let me see what I can do, because it was a little easier on the private server to get kind of that individual fix. But let me see what I can do on official.
Could we get you to officially commit to sending everybody new iPhones?
I think I might have to run that upstairs.
All right, I was trying, Scaly. That one was for you, baby. All right, I was gonna try. All right,
another easy win, but I can't.
I was trying to get the easy win. All right,
you set me up, but I couldn't get there.
Dang it, he got me again. All right, let's talk. Let's go back a little bit more seriously. We talked about the loops. We talked about some of the screen time. You've talked about freebooters being one of your favorite things. This is going to feel slightly unfair because we kind of have talked about it, but one of your own recently did a news blog post, and this has kind of been a very quotable thing. I played this sound effect for you just a little bit ago as we were testing our audio.
Quality.
Thank you, John. This whole quality over quantity thing kind of came out. Now, again, this is more of a scenario in which, again, I believe our definitions were different. And again, in your defense, even Ripper came out and said, listen, I believe that Scopely's intent with quality over quantity is different than what we may have interpreted. I know this is going to sound very petty, chat, but that was one of my questions, was to get Scopely's insight into this quality over quantity. A lot of us have said we don't see a lot of evidence of this, and some of the content feels rushed and not a lot of solid design, and even the 6 loops in 6 months or 5 loops in 6 months. And so I asked Hammy to kind of investigate that and see what was Scopely's definition of quality over quantity. What was Scopely's intent with that? And how are you guys feeling about your promise, your upholding of the quality over quality, quality over quantity statement that came in your news blog here not too long ago?
So I think we have actually done quality in 2 specific areas, and I know that this isn't the kind of the core of your question, which I'll get to next. When it comes to communication and stability, both of those have improved greatly in 2024. Specifically, starting the end of February, beginning of March, I think with the relatively smooth releases, stability has improved a lot, because I remember some ARC launches that were intense, like everything burning to the ground. So I think that's a big one. The second one, as a lot of people I hope have noticed on official, we're now updating everybody, getting them in the loop, letting them know what's being worked on, letting them know about upcoming events, what's been fixed when, and generally letting everybody know. Now, as for the core gaming experience, I agree that it does seem like quantity when you do 3 months in a row of adding new grinds. But here's the thing: I think that core gaming experience will improve over the next, I would say, couple months. I can't really get into too much, but I think there are good things coming. I'm waiting to hear what the community thinks about it, and I want to get there because I've seen the quality over quantity thrown to my face in chat like thousands of times.
A lot of you guys have. Listen, it's so weird.
I look in the mirror and I see quality over quantity across my forehead, like in quotes. Where's this?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
funny. There are certain things that Scopely comes out with that the community just latches onto. I call him Rippy Rip. Like that thing just don't die. All right, like some things last forever, Hammy. Okay.
And honestly, I get it. If that was posted, that we should be committed to that, and I want us to get there. I'm optimistic for the not too distant future, but from, I would say, the enterprise arc, I think there is some validity to the feedback that we've heard about the quality over quantity. I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's just I'll work it into every sentence.
Own it, baby. Yeah, absolutely. We're hoping for it. Now, Scopely has, of course, kind of one of the things that you and I talked about was kind of trying to manage expectations. That's actually something that Echo and I have talked about, and Beck and I have talked about it all the way back to Panic. You guys remember Panic? Managing expectations from the community seems to be one of the most difficult and challenging aspects of the job that you've assumed.
Yep.
However, communication has been at an all-time high. Rev did this amazing survey. He does them every single month, but what I wanted, and I know that you've seen this, I know he shared it with you, for the first time in, what was it, Rev, 20-some months, communication rated something other than a fail. And that obviously had a lot. You said just a moment ago, you were talking a lot about the announcements that you guys are doing in Discord. We talked about this last month's Arc Runner using the admin bot and using in-game communication tools and things like that. You guys have really knocked that out of the park over the last 30 days. I feel like that has a lot with you kind of supporting the team. Before we had Echo and Beck, and it was a lot for the two of them. You were already doing this over on the VIP side, but now do you feel that communication as a whole has improved or has contributed to the quality aspect? And is that because there's 3 of you now managing this big pie? Has it just gotten a little bit easier?
Yeah, Yeah, honestly, and this is what I've always wanted. Like, I believe in open communication with the players. I think it's vital. I also think down the line at some point, I love some of the one of the things that I like to do on the private server is bring members of the team over for Q&As. Like, I want that interaction. I want that communication to be flowing.
Me too.
So
Yeah, bring 'em.
yeah, and yeah, that is my plan down the line. That is my plan down the line. Uh, but I'm proud of the job that we've done. We've let people know, and I've seen in chat that people really do appreciate the extra effort that we're putting in, and it's across the board. Sierra has played a huge role in that. Eco has played a huge role. That Beck has played a huge role with that. And we're with the team. We're constantly checking with the team for updates and getting that out to the players as soon as we can. We're almost communicating a little too much because I remember posting.
No such thing. No such thing.
Well, I actually communicated that the deceiling rod issue had been fixed when it, in fact, was not. So I'm like, no, this time for real.
Okay, third time's the charm. Everybody, got you.
Yeah. It was seriously like that, and people were calling me out. I'm like, oh geez, okay. So when we get it fixed, I'm like, we have to be 100% on this, guys. Like,
Are we sure? Are we sure this fixed. Time? We actually have it. Okay, just check.
But I think that I love seeing that the scorecard from Rev about communication, and even I think Rev mentioned this to us. We need to keep this going. This cannot be a one-off. We have to keep this communication flowing. Like, I want this to be. My only fear is that we get so good at it that if we miss one thing, people will be like, whoa, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? But that almost is a good problem if we can keep everybody in the loop.
For those of you who are in our video portion of our interview, on your screen you see and Hammy, I'll just kind of tell you, and I know you've seen this same thing. Would it shock you to know that 67%, 2/3 of the player base actually loved communication this month, and it hasn't happened like that in months, almost years, certainly more than a year. As a matter of fact, Hammy, 90% of the player base graded communication at a C or better. Now, I think C is a little bit harsh. I certainly think that this month was far better than average. But regardless, these scores, you guys haven't seen these scores in 2 years. Is this the Hammy factor? Right? Like, was you coming over the X factor to getting them the manpower that they needed to communicate at this level? Or is this just you, like, doing the Java juice and sleeping 1.5 hours a day? Is this, as you mentioned, a one-off, or is this a sustainable method at which you guys are going to communicate with the player base?
Well, it's 100% me. Nobody else had anything to do with this. It's all Hammy.
Got it.
You heard it here first. Nobody else helped. No, that's actually completely untrue. This was a team effort, like across the board. It wasn't just some of the community-facing people like Eco, like Sierra, like Beck. This was the team actually coming together and saying, we need to do better. We need our players to know what's going on. Like, we weren't even announcing like systemic issues that were impacting. It was just kind of like radio silence. And there was a big push throughout basically a lot of the whole team to get communication up and running again and flowing. So, like I said, I'm more than happy to take all the credit. If you guys want to give it to me, that's fine. But
so humble. Good.
It was a much bigger team than just me, and I'm happy that I was part of it.
Well, we certainly do appreciate that as a community. I think the players again, responded very well to the level of communication. Now, just because I haven't been in the game today doesn't mean that I didn't look at the announcement that we saw, or at least the most recent one. I see that the Exocomp one is in there now. I missed that earlier, but I was referring to the fact that you're also giving us a few clues into upcoming events. As a matter of fact, this coming weekend, you made an announcement here just shortly before the show that you got another officer acquisition auction coming up this weekend. You want to tell the players a little bit about that and why this auction specifically?
Well, this was kind of something that we pivoted towards, because I know typically we do the XSLBs before incursions, and so we're trying something a little bit different this time, and running a second one. It might be, we're going to see what the feedback is. I'm kind of most excited right now of the officers that we're offering. I think Janeway and Hugh are solid officers to be offering. We're going to see what the feedback is on running it again so soon from last weekend, and then decide if that's something we want to do going forward. Because I kind of heard mixed things on official today regarding it. There was some mentions of like running again so soon, but there was others that were actually genuinely interested in the officers. So kind of we're going to wait and see how things go.
I think that is something we've got to be careful about, Hammy, when we're talking about interpreting feedback. In my opinion, I feel like Scopely has often misinterpreted data, right? Misinterpreted feedback. A couple of specific examples could be taking event store requests and turning them into paid packs. We don't like that very often. Auctions, while they're not the best model, are a way to source officer shards. So being excited about the officers may not necessarily lead to being exciting about the engine. More specifically, the fact that this is a cross-server solo leaderboard, which is kind of universally disliked. You say it was something that we kind of pivoted to, but was Scopely fearful of running an SLB, or was it too many shards? Like what is the reason that you guys like XSLBs at all? They seem to be kind of universally hated from the player community. Why do you guys like them?
That's a great question, actually. I'm not the person who decides when we run them or how often we run them. I have heard that though a lot from the private server, and again from chat on official. I can take this back to the team and discuss it with them, because I know that generally speaking there is some negativity towards SLBs and XSLBs in particular. But we'll see how this one runs, and then I can take that back. Because again, like you said, it's not a huge shock to hear they're unpopular with a lot of players.
Well, SLBs,
that is something.
I mean, SLBs are one thing, right? You're competing with your own people, but the Galaxy ones or the cross-server ones, those, I mean, let's just call it what it is, Hammy. It makes it harder. It actually fundamentally makes it a little bit more expensive, which is probably why you guys like it, and that's okay. I've often defended your guys' ability to make money. You're a company. You're for-profit. You'll never hear me knocking that, but, I think that you and I have discussed that there are some ideas that could probably make Scopely a lot of money that aren't quite maybe so frustrating to players. So, but I do appreciate you taking that back, because cross-server ones, man, that is poo-poo. But I do like, in all fairness, I do like the officers that are being available. It's unfortunate that cross-server solo leaderboards don't typically come with an SMS, and that could ease the pain a little bit. Maybe offering an SMS to go with it, at least some people could grab a few of those shards instead of relying on a cross-server piece of that.
I'm going to take that back, both the frequency and whether or not we can get an SMS, because that was actually feedback that I heard on official today a lot, is if we compare it with an SMS, it
doesn't feel so empty to people, right? It doesn't feel quite so empty to people. So, all right. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to maybe take a very quick break. When we come back,
I've got maybe one or two more questions for our very special guest. This is Obsidian Hamster, our brand newest community manager for Scopely and for Star Trek Fleet Command. And then the lightning round from you guys. You guys will have a chance. What does that look? What? Were you pointing at yourself? You look fearful.
I think they're referring to my pen because I'm here to take notes of stuff that I can take back.
I was going to say, oh, I see. The chat's excited that you're actually writing something down. Okay, that took me a second because you looked frightened for just a moment. Yes, we do love notebooks. We love notes, all right? Handwritten, especially. We'll do a couple of questions on the other side. And the lightning round from the chat, I'd like for you guys to get your questions ready. The idea behind the lightning round, Hammy, is going to be that the chat has an opportunity to ask you a very short answer question, preferably a yes or no answer question, right? They'll just ask you a question. That way we can get through as many of them as quickly and efficiently as possible without going into a long answer. So chat, get your yes or no questions ready for the lightning round. And in an unprecedented move, I'm going to give our esteemed guests the chance to ask you guys a couple of questions on the other side of the break as well. My name is Ultimate DJs. This is Talking Trek, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. We will return right after these words with our very special guest, community manager, Obsidian Hamster, right after this on Talking Trek, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. And, of course, the buttons aren't working again today because, why would they? Just everything going super solidly and super amazing when we have such a nice guest on the show. Okay.
Yo, what's up, Commanders? Great news about PvPtarget.com. You've known for a while that it exists and has some great reference tools regarding PvP banding and common crew loadouts, but they've recently launched brand new tools on the site, including a brand new cargo calculator page as well. This isn't your typical max cargo style calculator, but a brand new, unique tool that identifies the timer until you go over cargo. The game timer might tell you how long to zero the node, but how long until your miner is at risk? You can find out now by using the brand spanking new cargo calculator at PvPtarget.com. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com.
Talking Trek is brought to you in part by MN Toy Posse. MN Toy Posse is the biggest and best Facebook page all about toys. Meet other like-minded individuals that share in your same interest, have hard-to-find rare toys, or know someone looking for your special piece of nostalgia. Old toys or new toys, hard-to-find toys, doesn't matter. With MN Toy Posse, you can find it, buy it, or sell it. Visit today at facebook.com/MNToyPosse. That's facebook.com/MNToyPosse for the toy collector in all of us.
You looking for ways to enhance your gaming experience inside Star Trek Fleet Command? Well, Surtail has the answers for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. Gummies to sharpen the mind when you can't come up with 14 words where 3 would do. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products that you would need to improve your gaming experience. Surtail also distributes bath salts, CBD creams and oils, weight loss products, protein shakes, workout aids, Delta 8 gummies, and so much more. Message Surtail on Discord or go to crazybunch.org. Apparently, I had way too many windows open, Hammy. Good God. You would think that I actually stream. Like, you think that I actually, like, do this for work and, like, I might actually. I know, Griffin. What? It's just terrible. Hammy, I promise. I promise.
Like I said,
that,
like I said, this is my first time on Twitch, so all this could be normal.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's totally normal.
Buttons and sounds and music, sure.
Yep. Calvin DeVille says, I'm just glad I could be here for this DJ's first stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I know. All right, the chat is giving it to me now, Hammy.
Quality.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Quality.
Thanks, guys. Yes.
Quality.
Stop it now.
Quality.
Okay. All right, we're done with that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining, my name is Ultimate DJs. This is Obsidian Hamster. Hammy, as we most affectionately refer to him, our newest community manager and communication extraordinaire for Scopely, for Star Trek Fleet Command. Tell the players a little bit about you as a person. Where are you from? And where do you call home now? Because it's not the same place that everyone else goes. Like when we went to Los Angeles, you had to travel too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was born and raised on the mean streets of Montreal, and I lived there most of my childhood.
You're Canadian.
I am Canadian. So that may be why I don't like PvP. I like to get along with everybody. Just take it easy, eh?
Okay. We're
Calm down, everybody.
We're learning. Okay.
Around age 12 or 13, my whole family trucked out to Seattle. And that's where I've lived the majority of my life. I kind of like Seattle. Like it's a beautiful city, but it's changing a lot. Lots of gentrification. But I hate to say this, but I don't think I could live in LA. I've been down there a few times.
No, it's terrible, isn't it?
They sell you on the sun, and I'm just like I don't. We see the sun in Seattle like maybe 2 days a year. So just every day at it's 76 degrees every day and sunny. And I just I need some clouds. It feels wrong.
It's like, where's all my rainstorms at? God, it's too much happiness. Too much.
Yeah.
I need my rain cloud to follow me around. All right. So you when you came to Los Angeles to meet us for 5-year anniversary, that was that was your first time with players as well, right? Going and experiencing all that for, I guess we were together 2 or 3 days. Maybe I guess a little longer than, I don't know. It was a great experience. Tell the players a little bit about that. You're on the community team. How much of a hand did you have in working towards that? And is that kind of experience something that Scopely wants to do more of?
First off, I had zero to do with the planning. I just showed up at the end and was able to interact with some of the players from the private server, which I love. I want to do more of that, 100%. Just being able to talk to people that I've chatted with online, for a couple of years, to meet them face to face was amazing. To give them a tour of the headquarters, to go to Paramount Studios, everything was awesome. And I had a blast. And I just want to thank kind of the community team, like Beck and Eco and John, all put that together. And I think it went really, really well. I'm glad that you asked about whether we want to do that more. Beck and I even had a conversation today about that exact thing. I love the idea of putting a player meetup together at some point in the future. I want to have, the CMs there, CCs there, maybe some of the team to do panels, do Q&As, things like that. I would love to do that. Now, that's not saying that we have something planned, that it's in the books and we're ready to announce or anything like that. But based off of my experience in LA last fall, I would love to do it on a bigger scope. I want to meet more of the players, wherever we can. Maybe we can go to like a convention. Maybe we can figure something out. But that would be awesome, I think.
Yeah, it does sound like that would be something very appropriate for Scopely to want to be involved in at like a Comic Con, right? A San Diego Con
Yep.
a Dragon Con or any of these. There's cons all over the place.
Yep.
So it would be really, really cool to see Star Trek Fleet Command and then therefore see other players. I had the chance. I know we talked very briefly about it. I had the chance to actually attend Star Trek The Cruise here, I guess, just a month or two ago, and I got to meet people from the community, which was a lot of fun. Like you say,
Nice.
at the 5-year anniversary, it was a lot of fun to meet players and people that you have chatted to for a long time and have hung out with, and it was just very, very cool to do that. So I'd like to see more of that from you guys. What are some of the other plans? Like, you're new to this portion of the community team. What do you want to bring to people? What are your plans? Do you like quirky little games? Do you like hints? What can we expect? As a matter of fact, I want to draw this around. You told me the day before or 2 days before the April Fool's event came out, I asked you for a rundown on the event. You said that the answer lied within the announcement already. Okay. We actually spent a little bit of time postulating about that night, but it was fun to actually do that.
Yeah.
Seems like you're kind of a guy that likes a puzzle, right? You like the kind of the hints, the kind of the silly vibes. Is that something we can count on you for a little bit more moving forward? Like, do you like to play coy?
I do. And that has actually been a big part of my job, especially when we have a new arc coming out. You can't really, you want to share it with them, but you can only give them so much. And I think that if we can do that more to, just give little hints without giving everything away, to just get people talking or thinking about what might be coming out, I think that's great. And it does kind of dovetail with our push for more communications. As for my kind of personal plans, is I've always believed in engagement and communication. Like I said, I would love to have a Q&A with, members of the team. I want to do events on official, because I think we used to do them a while back, but we haven't done any in a minute. So much more engagement, much more, like, more events, more fun. I want people to have a good time when they're on official, while they're complaining about the game.
Yeah, official is my favorite place to be. Sure is.
Honestly, it's not nearly as bad as I was expecting, because I'd heard horror stories and stuff like that, and I was primarily focused on the private server for a long time. But I'm in there, every day, and yeah, there is frustration and a lot of valid points, but it's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. I think there are some cool peeps over there.
Okay. You have to say that. All right. You have to say that. Okay, fine. There we go. Yeah. Let me ask you this, just for some people who do love official so very much. Hammy, are you willing to reopen cases and overturn permabans from official Discord?
That's a tricky question. I guess I'll tell you what, in theory, I'm open to that. What I've learned and what I think is absolutely vital to running a great Discord.
Beck is giving me grief now. Beck is yelling at me, Hammy.
Yeah.
Stop it, Beck.
Here's the thing, though. One of my biggest lessons from the private server is how vital mods are. Yeah. They are so important. And like I've already mentioned, Jess, Stoney, Doc, Phil, they are incredible. And I trust them. I'm in constant communication with them. I do calls with my mods monthly. I need to bump that up probably to, bi-weekly. But I do not want to let anybody back in that the mods aren't comfortable with. That would be the biggest block for someone returning. If they've severely burned the mods, or even the CMs too, that will be a harder pitch. So I'm not 100% against it.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people. Yeah, I've talked to people who have changed. They understand what they did was wrong, or they were angry for a long time. I'm open to it, but I think ultimately it will be up to the mods.
And in fairness, I was kind of joking about that question. In all seriousness, I appreciate that you answered it honestly and sincerely, and I feel like that's probably appropriately fair. That the mods, you can't do everything yourself, and I think there's something that a lot of us have had to learn the hard way, Echo included. One of the things that we had a conversation about in the very beginning was, man, just like don't try to do everything yourself because it'll kill you, it'll burn you out, and I love him to death, but I saw evidence of that. I saw evidence of him working really, really hard and then just needing to take a breather. The fact that you have been able to do this for a couple of years is actually super positive. Like, that's really motivating to me, is that you've survived community for 2 years. What's wrong with you?
I love the community. Basically, I like to think that I was part of an effort to kind of transform the private server. When I got there, there was justifiably a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. And one of the things that I maintain is that, work with me. I get it. If you're going to be frustrated, at least be constructive. Give me some information that I can take back. If you're just going to be negative for negative's sake, then I can't work with that. And there are players that will hate everything we put out and be very vocal about everything. I can't take that feedback, to the team, because if you're just going to say the same thing and not give it a chance, then there's nothing of value there. But work with me, help me understand what the issue is. And sometimes it'll take an explanation. And I have to say this about the private server, and I hope to have the same experience on official. Everybody on the private server was so patient with me starting out. They were happy to explain these very technical issues where I honestly had no idea what I was doing, because this is a very complicated game. And to have that patience and to have that understanding, I thank everybody on the private server that gave me a chance and were patient enough for me. Now that I'm up and running, now that I understand things, I want to help more people. That's why I want to go over to official to see what I can do and try and build something there. And I meant to correct this earlier. I'm not 100% gone from the private server. I will be kind of floating back and forth between the two, but
see, K9, you didn't lose your hammy. Okay, you still have. Look, Monkey Man loves you. K9 Tooth loves you. Look at all the loves. Can we get a little bit of loves, hearts in chat for Hammy? I think that would be really, really nice for him to see. Yeah, look, Shinjo, we want our Hammy back. You can't have him. Okay, he's ours now. All right. So anyway, I do appreciate that. Now, community, we are going to come in and do our lightning round here in just a moment. So get your questions ready for that as we're getting ready to wrap up. We're actually a few minutes over our time. Hammy, you have remarkably impressed me over the last 30 days that we've worked together, because you ask really intelligent questions. When we're talking about the game, when we're talking about mechanics, when we're talking about game design, when we're talking about marketing or whatever, the show, it doesn't feel cookie cutter with you. So you have an interesting mind, and I like how you phrase questions. So I would like to give you a chance to ask one or two questions to the community, and we'll see some of the reaction there. Because a lot of the stuff that you do, a lot of the feedback that you take, the pen that you're actually holding in your hand, which is crazy.
Oh no!
Whoa! Easy killer.
Wait a minute. This is a very awkward segue real fast. This is how seriously I'm taking this situation. This mic right here.
Yes, please.
I don't know if everybody can see it.
Keep hitting.
I'm hitting it with my pen, so people
can't tell at all.
This is new. I bought this today.
Stop hitting it.
To be on here. And so that's why I'm gonna hit it from time to time because it's a new thing. I'm excited. I feel like I'm all twitchy now. Look at me go.
Yeah, look at the background he has. Guys, look at this. We were talking about this. He was like, does this look cool? I'm like, yeah, man, go with it. He was like, I thought about putting up my account, but I didn't want to dox myself, so I created like this wormhole thing. I'm like, okay, it's good. I like it. For those, listen, I'll pop this up. For those of you who don't see, that's a great screen grab right there. I'm pretty sure I just caught Hammy trying to pick his nose. I'll put that in the graphics room for you guys.
Oh, no.
There you go.
It's entirely possible. I hope it's not. But maybe I'll do a fake one, like,
You gotta clip that, please. All right. For those of you in podcast, that's now in the graphics room. Hammy going in for the deep dive there. Okay. So you kind of circling back, you are very excited. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a second to promote this? I don't know if anything's in the books yet. I know Rev is in our chat. You have a show appearance with Rev scheduled as well. Do we have a date for that, Rev? Is that something we got yet, or do we want to talk about it?
Well, we're working on it. The tricky thing, like I really want to go. I actually had a great call with Rev today. We covered a lot of ground. It was actually really, really helpful because he came to me with a list of some ideas that would really help improve things for players. And part of that conversation was when I can get on his show. What makes everything tricky is I'm going on vacation starting next week.
I got it first.
I want to go on Rev's show next. I love this. I'm having a blast. Rev and I have chatted on Discord for years. Like I know Rev really well. I feel like we have a great relationship. I will try. I'll tell you what. I can't 1,000% guarantee.
Just do a show while you're on vacation. It's fine.
I'm gonna. I have no idea how that will go over. We'll see about that. However, I might try and get onto Rev's show early next week. Because I'm leaving, I think, on Wednesday evening, which is going to make things very tricky. I would love to do early next week, but I need to check in with a few people to see if we can do that. But that's the plan.
I love the fact that it is something that you want to do. And I want to thank you for that, for all of the content creation team. And I know that you'll make your rounds with some of the other creators as well. But the fact that you want to and that you're willing to, I think that's great. And I love it. I appreciate you wanting to do that. Although the chat finally getting off my back here a little bit tonight, Hammy. Oh, vacation before an arc fall. It's a little sus. Okay? He's running already for his first official public arc launch, and he's taking a vacation.
I'm not stupid. Timing is key. Timing is key.
I just broke things. Can you guys hear me? Oh, wait. There. I just broke something that time. All right, yeah.
I'm full comms until an arc launch when I'm in control. I'm like, oh, look at the time. I got a thing at the place.
Gotta go. See ya.
The person and the stuff.
The things. All right. Bye. Okay. So that's amazing. All right. Let's very quickly kind of circling back after a little bit of fun. Do you have any questions for the community? Something that you have really kind of been wanting to know or would like insight on? Anything that your heart desires, Hammy, ask the community one or two questions, and then we're going to give them a chance to grill you in the lightning round. Hammy, take it away. What would you like to ask our community?
Okay. I have a great question for the community. Which is the worst faction, and why is it the Klingons?
This guy is great. I like it, chat. Yes, we're gonna grill him. Oh snap, says Samo. All right, which is the worst faction and why is it the Klingons? Let's see what the chat says. Morbid John says, how dare you? Karkin says Tarks smell bad. Joker says you can cancel that show with Rev. Oh, that's funny. So let's explore on this a little bit. You are not Klingon faction. What do you play in the game?
Oh, my primary is ROM. I love them. I love the burning. Honestly, I think they have the best looking ships in the game. Maybe outside the Ent E. The Ent E, I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. The Ent E is probably one of my favorite Enterprise. I know. And that's another question for chat. How about that? What's your favorite Enterprise and why is it the E?
Well,
that's the last time I'm going to do that, I swear.
All right, fair. Yeah, we'll see. For me, I like I personally love the D.
Yeah. It's a good looking chip for the most part. Here's my fundamental problem with Klingons. Okay. Their number one goal in life is to die in battle. Like, that's number one. Let's die gloriously in battle. Right. So I'm like, cool. Let me help you with that. Like, I've killed millions of Klingons, and I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep going, and I'm a hero to them now, right? Because I've killed so many and given them exactly what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a twisted way to think about it, but okay, cool, man. It's good.
It's kind of lemming. Here, how about this word? Lemming-esque.
The Chad is giving me grief on that. Sorry, I was just playing. You don't have to tell me to behave. I was just playing around a little bit. Just playing with words. DJs, what is wrong with you? Yes, I can hear her voice in my head. I totally can. Omicron says that he would like you to say hello to Jadzia. And
hello, Jadzia.
There you go. Clip it. Anyway.
I think I could do that a little bit better.
Oh, okay. Give it a take two.
Hello, Jadzia.
Fantastic.
Huh?
Star Trek. Wait, you guys aren't supposed to be asking the questions yet. Are we asking? Is it time? Are we supposed to do the lightning round now? Is that what you guys want? Hammy, are you ready for this? I'm going to give the community 5 minutes. I even have a little button that I press. All right. It's 5 minutes long.
And how many no comments do I have?
You get no. Okay. You can have one. Maybe.
I was thinking like 200 or 300. No.
We will see what happens. All right. We will see what happens. Community, get ready for your lightning round. We are going to begin this very, very dangerous segment as I do. All right. This is a very, very dangerous segment. But we will ask your yes or no questions to community manager Hammy. I don't think that was. Oh, yeah, that is the right button. All right, Hammy, 5 minutes and 3 seconds are on the clock. Here's your time. Hammy, what is your stance on pastries? Do you like pastries?
Whether pie is a pastry.
Is pie a pastry? Got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go no.
Ooh, Bubba says you're wrong.
I do like pie over cake. But I don't think I'd consider it a pastry.
Okay. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I mean, I know this is a hot topic. I've seen this come up all over the place. I'm fine with it. It's not my number one pizza that I'm gonna go for, but if it's the only pizza around, I'm not gonna turn my nose up.
All right. Sammo wants to know why the name Obsidian Hamster. Where does it come from?
Well, that's a great question. Sierra Uniform, who some of you know and have seen, and who's been around forever, we were having just a conversation, and I was throwing things out like Falcon Supreme or, just Mega Awesome, Mega Ultra, and she's like, no, players will hate that. So I settled on something that I liked, kind of the idea of having kind of the cold crystalline, volcanic glass and a very cute, adorable, fun animal together. And it just kind of stuck. And I love the name. I love being known as Hammy because Hammy is actually a pretty good description of me as well.
All right. Very good. What is the worst house chore? Guys, are we going to ask him game questions? Do you want game questions, Hammy? Like that? Chat's like, you've earned some grace apparently today. Normally they'd be like beating you up over solo leaderboards and stuff. But I mean, yeah, Tabby Moser wants to know your thoughts on mayonnaise. Is cereal
No. We can, let's go back to house chores. That's fine.
House chores. Okay.
It's your time,
I don't know
guys. It's your time.
I don't know. I don't know if this counts as a chore, but I consider it a chore. Cooking. I had a roommate once that said, without my microwave or a George Foreman grill, I would starve to death. It is very, very sad. And now you know my secret shame.
All right, very good. Finally, I get a game question here. Good golly. Waffly says, how long until we actually get a movie-based arc? Did we? Wait, wasn't First Contact? Wasn't First Contact kinda
Ent-E was kinda. However, I will say this. From day one, we need to get the real Khan in game.
Yes.
Like, straight up, Wrath of Khan. We need that. I want that.
Are you doing it? Are you making it happen?
I'm pushing for that. And I swear to God, if this happens, if I can get the officer ability name in game, it would be prosthetic pectorals.
Yep, that works.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. What is your favorite Star Trek series? SKZ asks.
TNG.
Okay.
Though Strange New Worlds is making a very strong pitch these days.
It's a good show.
It is. I thought season 2 was phenomenal. I like Lower Decks a lot too, but my heart belongs to TNG. Like that was my jam growing up. And one of the shows, it's like a comfort food basically. I can go back and watch TNG. I'll be honest, maybe not season 1, season 2. That was a little bit but season 3 through 7, solid. Some of the best TV ever, I think.
Indominus Prime has a great question for you. Will the next arc be Discovery?
Well, we'll just have to wait and discover that for ourselves.
I tried. I'm trying to get him. Asking questions real fast and then sneak one in there. Okay.
I'm squirrely.
Yeah. He's Beck says, good answer. Okay. X Borg says, yo, what can we do to look at Meridian sourcing other than event stores? Is the Meridian in Cosmic Cleanup? I don't think it is. That might be one of the few ships that has no regular sourcing other than an event store. Might be. He's getting a pen out. Getting a pen out. Yeah, let's talk about Meridian. Hey, while you're talking about sourcing things, let's add that whip. Add the whip to the list. Can we get the Ferengi whip on the list?
I can raise it. I know that's been raised a lot. Eco's brought that up. I think Beck has brought that up.
I got the whip.
I can see what I can see what I can do. It's not 100% that I can get that. I know it's a popular. I hear it from the players all the time. I don't think we've heard of much progress at this point, but I'll keep asking.
All right, fair enough. Appreciate it. Andy wants to know if you can will sliders into the game for all redeems. Sliders. You know, we had a thing with the multiphasics here, I guess a month or two, and then they broke, but now they're back, and it's a great thing. Can we get that like everywhere? We do that.
I actually had a conversation with Rev about this exact topic earlier today. We went over some of the things that are, I think for some reason off the top of my head, a claim all button would work a little bit better in certain situations. One of we did talk about kind of away teams having a claim all, which would just, because to have to do each one down the thing just doesn't really make sense. Sliders would definitely be next because the reception to the multiphasic sliders was huge. People loved it until we took it away, but then we gave it back and they loved it again. So I want to see more of that.
There are some. I bet some of these are your guys. Who we got? Monkey Man and Morbid John have asked for dry docks 9 through 12.
9 through 12.
Yeah. Yep. Apparently, guys.
That's kind of a big ask.
Actually, let me ask you, genuinely speaking, do you see the game moving beyond 8 dry docks? I mean, visibly speaking, we're full now. Station's full.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I honestly, between more dry docks or an expanded ship hangar, I would go with the ship hangar between the two.
Really? You don't
yeah.
scrap?
What?
You don't scrap?
No, but I've, and maybe this is a private server issue, but they get to the point where they are running out of room in their server, and a lot of people do scrap, but some ships aren't scrappable, which is another thing I'd like to work on. Like the Vidar.
Scrap the Rialta.
Scrap.
No.
Yep.
No kidding. Don't. Not the Rialta.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hammy, did you thanks, Envenadia. I feel like that's a question trying to rub it in my face. Hammy, did you buy Discovery Prime?
Nope, I don't use a Discovery.
Why?
Haven't needed it.
My man. I ain't buying it either. I ain't doing it. See, I kind of agree. Like, you don't use it at all?
Mm-mm.
You've built it, though.
Oh yeah, I built it.
Right,
I toyed around with it a little bit, but like I said at the beginning, there are aspects of the game that I have blind spots to because there's only so much you can catch up with,
right?
And then keep up with each new arc that comes out. And so the disco, I mean, my ship range, once you get into kind of mid G5, I don't know, even the early G5 ship range just doesn't really seem to be a major issue. I don't know if that's fair.
Until some of these new loops, right? Like some of these new loops. Have you, but you're probably not doing a whole lot of those because you just mine it, ain't you?
I'm doing the loops. I swear to God, there are some times that I send my NX-01 after the aquatic hostiles, and it just dies the first time, like 5 or 6 times in a row, and it drives me nuts.
That was actually something I kind of avoided this topic earlier because it wasn't on our list, and I know that you're not a game design decision maker, but it's kind of weird. Let me just ask you, do you find it odd that the NX-01 works against the aquatics but not the reptilians? Like, is that a little bit weird to me?
Yep.
Okay. Here, let me wrap this into a better question for you. How big are you on lore within the game? Like, if something violates lore, does it piss you off?
I mean, I get it. I get when, when we release someone who's a mining officer, like, what is it, Dixon Hill was a mining officer. Like,
how about Neelix as the morale officer? That one that goes down in the history books, I think. Neelix is the
here's
not the morale officer is what I meant, but yeah.
Yeah. My kind of whole philosophy on it is, first I look if the ability is helpful to me first. That's my primary thing.
Okay.
I'm not as attached to the lore, but I get it. I get that there have been some interesting, let's say, choices when it comes to officers and their connected ability.
So utility, you're a utility guy. Is that where you kind of fall with like the cosmetics as well? We've talked in the past, not you and I, but the presence of cosmetics in this game. If there would be, like, there are some games that make all of their money on cosmetics. Scopely has a couple of those. My son plays, what is the one that he did the thing for, the Stumble guys? And like that's all it is. You just pay for the skins. Do you feel like that would work with this community? That
Absolutely.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would love to see them. And honestly, a lot of my early game when I was in like G3, G4 was just seeing all these awesome refits and not having a way to get them.
Right.
Like that kind of drove me nuts. I would love to see us expand on that, like different color skins. I know we have covered a lot, but there's a lot more we could do.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, I would love to keep going. It sounds like he could go all night as well. But we are, in fact, let me just praise him as well. And let the people know, Hammy, that we are indeed actually 25 minutes past your time, and you have not once mentioned, oh yeah, look at the time, I gotta go. The doorbell hasn't rang. You haven't gotten that like emergency 911 text yet. So thank you very, very much for spending the time with us here tonight. Community, I would love to join with you in thanking
our new community manager, Obsidian Hamster. Not new to the game, not even new to community management, but new to us and already kicking ass and doing a very, very good job.
Thanks,
ladies and gentlemen, hopefully to become a very regular guest here and one of my closest friends. This would be Hammy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know he's nicer. Beck says, I just tell him, okay, gotta go. Your time's up. Yeah.
I just want to say I had a blast. This was a lot of fun. You dropped in some really kind of tricky questions for me to answer yesterday.
I would never do such a thing.
I liked it. I liked the conversation. I love meeting the community. I would be more than happy to come back. I'm going to try and get on Rev's show next, hopefully early next week. I'm not 100% on that yet, though. I'd be happy to come back, DJ. This was wonderful, and I thought I'd be distracted by the chat, and I was a little, but I think I was able to focus on my answers pretty well.
I think you did a phenomenal job, and community, I'll have you know that we were setting up tech literally like 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the showtime. We were kind of tinkering around with some tech and getting it working. It was very, very good. Thank you for your equipment investment as well. Is Scopely paying for that mic? You better turn in a receipt for that.
Hey, that's a great idea. I'm
Write
doing
it down
that
with your pen. Write it down with the pen. Ladies and gentlemen, Obsidian Hamster, thank you so very much.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great night, and I want to be back soon.
We'll look forward to it very, very much. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our final break, and when we return, a few minutes, just a couple of minutes, with you guys and your reaction to Obsidian Hamster, your feedback, so to speak, on him and his being here, and whether or not he is going to do the trick for you here inside Star Trek Fleet Command. Is he going to have what it takes to make you a happier player? And I'm hoping that answer is yes. We're going to talk a little bit more about it on the other side of the break as we get ready to wrap up our evening here. My name is Ultimate DJs, thanking you for being an honored guest on the stage of Talking Trek Live. Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast will return right after these words. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com. Talking Trek is brought to you in part by MN Toy Posse. MN Toy Posse is the biggest and best Facebook page all about toys. Meet other like-minded individuals that share in your same interest, have hard-to-find rare toys, or know someone looking for your special piece of nostalgia. Old toys or new toys, hard-to-find toys, doesn't matter. With MN Toy Posse, you can find it, buy it, or sell it. Visit today at facebook.com/MN Toy Posse. That's facebook.com/MN Toy Posse for the toy collector in all of us. You looking for ways to enhance your gaming experience inside Star Trek Fleet Command? Well, Surtail has the answers for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. Gummies to sharpen the mind when you can't come up with 14 words where 3 would do. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products that you would need to improve your gaming experience. Surtail also distributes bath salts, CBD creams and oils, weight loss products, protein shakes, workout aids, Delta 8 gummies, and so much more. Message Surtail on Discord or go to crazybunch.org. Well, welcome back. What?
Let's get it on.
Why are you guys making fun of me?
Sugar.
Welcome back, everybody.
Let's get it on.
It is not inappropriate to play Echo's music as Hammy is leaving. It's a great song. Why not? I think it's fine. Floyd says, why is it not inappropriate? It's not inappropriate. Okay, not in the least. Listen, I am very, very happy
for Echo in what he's getting to do now. I feel like this is kind of what he has been wanting to do for a very long time. And I think the proof is in the pudding, right? I think the proof is in the pudding that he is able to orchestrate better things and a better outcome for the team when everybody is working together and doing some stuff like that. I'm very, very happy for all of them. I'm happy for Beck doing what she's doing. I'm happy for Echo, and I'm extremely happy for Hammy, who is doing what he wants to do now. Allegedly, supposedly, he wanted to go to official. Crazy. Divine, you say I should have asked Hammy for his own song. He did. That was that song that I tried to play that Spotify boned me on. That was Deeper in a Sky. He picked that. He said, I want this to be my song. That's what. So I'm going to have to make a note of it. We're going to have to make a button for him. All right. We're going to have to make a button for him there. All right. Listen, I want to come to the stage. Karkin, good evening to you. Welcome into the show. Steven Zarin is here. You guys are more than welcome to raise your hand and come up to the stage. I will absolutely bring you guys up to the stage. I would love to know what you guys are feeling, if you guys are liking this. I feel like this was a really, really good.
I thought you missed the
outing.
Discord questions. Were you reading through Discord or just from the YouTube or from the Twitch?
I was watching both of them. But I mean, it is challenging because I've got 3 different chats going on. So it was a little bit challenging, but I got some out of here. Listen, the Dry Docks thing, that came out of Discord. You guys give me a break. Okay, I'm reading. Listen, Anti-Whale says, I'm optimistic. He actually seems kind of cool. Listen, a lot of people do really, really like Hammy. I think the fact that he's been here for 2 years already is...
Because he's Canadian. Now we know why. And why everyone likes him. That's one of our personal traits is just likability.
Likability. All right. Papa Smurf says, I like Echo a lot, but I'm getting a really good feeling from Hammy. One of the things that I really enjoyed, this was the first time, not our first conversation, but the first time, obviously, having him on the show. And, I have said this. Steven Zarin, you're going to recognize this. Griffin, you weren't around at this time. Karkin, you're going to remember. I used to say that I really, really loved the dance that Panic and I got to have. You guys remember me saying stuff like this before? Like, I love
Panic. Panic was great.
The dance that I got to have with Panic was great because he was very vocal. He was very funny. He was very able to have toe-to-toe conversations, but he would also sidestep. He would dance. He would kind of go with the flow. And I'll tell you
conversations that stick in my mind. The conversation that stick in my mind is the ones we're discussing Territory when Territory came out.
Yeah.
He was really good at tiptoeing that line of giving stuff, but then sidestepping something. And that always sticks in my mind.
Let me just say,
love those conversations.
I get that feeling from Hammy. I get that feeling. Like, I have a feeling, like, just today, listen, some people are going to say, including Beck, I got the message, like, have we prepped each other? Like, did I try to mess him up? Did we get all the correct questions out there? Yeah, totally. We went over this stuff, but let me just tell you, not 100%. He absolutely went with the flow. He went, he kind of just went with it. He was very conversational, and I really, really enjoyed that. And of course, we did try to do the little thing about trying to get him to say a thing or two that he probably shouldn't have said, and he was sharp. He was sharp on that, Aaron, which I can respect, but very much want to. That's going to be my goal now, is to trip him up. All right. I'm going to trip him up now. That's the goal. Rare Earth says Hammy's got a very nice voice. Oh, yes, he does. That's a good voice. How many of you guys, was that the first time seeing? Oh, there he is. He's still in the chat. He says, game on. This is where the fun begins, Wolfwood. The challenge is on. who will end up being the better dance partner, all right, Hammy or myself. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Beck's going to have to keep an eye on me now, all right? It's going to be a thing. The one of the things that I really observed is his ability to be genuine and have a real conversation. Karkin, the observation that I got was he actually does know what he's talking about, right? Like, I got that feeling. You guys, anybody out there, like, actually get the feeling that, like, he knows the stuff we're talking about. He empathizes with some of our pains, maybe disagrees with some of our positions on certain things, but he plays the game enough to understand why we might have an issue with this, or this. Stewie says, I believed him. Serge says, 100% believable guy. Tiberius says, it's amazing to hear from people who genuinely and actively play the game. That is actually really cool. Griffin, welcome to the stage. I'd like to get your first reaction on our new community manager. I think he did a great job.
I mean, I absolutely love him. He's very well versed in the game because he plays the game. It's just that simple. I look forward to having conversations about new arcs with people who have an insight to not only what's going on within Scopely, but who actually play the game like us and know what the challenges and tribulations are. So we can commiserate together, we can collaborate together, we can make the game better together. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'm very excited for this interview today. What a great one.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. But really, all the thanks goes to Hammy. And I told you guys this on a previous show. This was not something I had to chase him down for. He called me because you guys knew I was in a little bit of a funky spot there for a little bit. It could still be with regards to the game, but it just wasn't something that, like, I'm digging up every stone, flipping every stone, trying to get every interview, every comment. I'm just kind of, I've kind of been Griffin,
DJs, you were in a weird place a month ago. We all were as a community. We felt a little bit withdrawn and a little bit pulled back.
I felt disconnected.
To have Hamster come in and want to engage and reach out to you and say, let's fix this. That was really cool.
I felt disconnected from the game.
Yep.
This right here tonight actually makes me feel like, by God, we have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in our corner. Like, I actually genuinely feel that, and I'm really, really excited. Yeah, apathy might be the right word, Omicron. I just feel like, Tiberius says it's very real. I've got 1 foot out the door because of the last 6 months. It's been a really frustrating period of the game, and I feel like this guy gets it. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that he might be able to do for us within the game.
DJs, let me give you this little factoid, which is very ironic that he is in fact an Obsidian Hamster, because sometimes it is always darkest before the dawn, and I do feel a dawn really coming, and I'm very excited.
Well, I have told you that I felt like it was going to get worse before it got better. I feel like that was prophetic for March. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll be honest with you, I did not expect Zindy Armadas to be that bad, to be perfectly frank. Okay, I didn't, but it was, it was terrible. And I'm reminded of, and I don't necessarily want to put him on the same pedestal, but one of the most honest moments I think that we've ever had on our show is when David Eckelberry said, "Yeah, we got that wrong." When the general manager, vice president of the game came out and said, yeah, with regards to forbidden technology, yeah, we got that wrong. Like, the community instantly connected with him, right? The community instantly said, okay, this guy is capable of being honest. And then we ask him about the Zindy Armadas, and he says, yeah, I don't think we got that right. That instantly built credibility with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Chat, am I wrong about that? Is that crazy? I feel like he instantly built credibility by being honest and coming out and saying, yeah, it wasn't our finest moment.
No, owning something when it's bad is always a good thing. And look what happened after that conversation with Eckelberry. It completely got fixed. That percentage nonsense went from a 0.5% increase to a 10 or 20% increase. So things can get better, and people are listening, and that is the big takeaway from that.
Yeah. Somebody else was getting ready to comment on something. I don't know if that was Aaron or Karkin?
Oh,
Aaron, go
yeah,
ahead.
I was just going to say that we have had in the past where, sure, they're not going to get everything right. You know, they try things out and things like that. But it's the biggest thing is putting that, like David said, putting their hands up, saying, okay, yeah, we didn't get that right. Let's work on it and find something how we can make it right. You know, we also need to understand that, sure, they're going to try things in a game development that they won't get right. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
So,
SKZ brings up
It's
a good
honesty.
point. SKZ brings up a good point, and I want to address this. He's saying, are you implying that other CMs are not entirely honest like Hammy was? No, that's not what I'm implying. I feel like, you know, I saw this in the chat. I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to, and I feel like I can say this because he is my friend and he knows. Listen, I told him for Christmas I was going to make him a T-shirt that says, I'm going to get back to you. Okay? Like, Echo knows. He knows that he says it too much. It's just kind of that's his crutch, right? That's the thing he goes to when it's something that he can't talk about. I feel like Hammy was, like, not trying to be PC with that. He was not trying to be PR with that. He just said, hey, man, like, you know, yeah, worked. No, didn't work. Excuse me, I sneezed. Sneezed again, apologies. I feel like he was not terrified. I don't know how to say this without it. It sounded like I'm beating up on Echo. I'm not. They just have a different style. Echo was famous for saying, I'm going to get back to you on that. He knows it. We've teased him. He knows it. Okay? But we didn't hear that one time tonight. Not once. You know,
He doesn't have a cliche one-liner.
He didn't say that one time.
yet.
Like, anytime that he didn't have an answer, he just said, you know, okay, let me make a note. He had his note. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to talk about this. We'll see what we can do. But while along the way, and I feel like Scopely has had this issue, not just CMs, but Scopely as a whole, I feel like has always had the issue of being afraid to apologize, to be afraid of accepting responsibility, to be afraid of apologizing. And I use that word very emphatically for my friend who's no longer on this show with me. I feel like Scopely has cut off their nose to spite their face in the past for the sake of not accepting responsibility, not saying I'm sorry, or not accepting the fact that they could have made a mistake. And I got a genuine feeling. Like, call me crazy. I do not get the feeling that he is afraid to come out here and say, ooh, we missed that one. Because he did it tonight. He literally said it twice tonight. Yeah, we didn't get that quite right. And that, I just hope, maybe it's stupid optimism, but I feel like, A, him being Hammy, B, him being on this show, and C, him being on this show with permission from all of community, from the lawyers, from legal, all of them saying, okay, Hammy, go do this show. And him coming out and unapologetically admitting that they are not perfect. That, to me, Griffin, I actually feel like there's a lot of positivity we can take away from that. Like, as if Scopely has finally said, okay, maybe honesty and transparency, maybe a little bit of a humanistic attitude towards this might not be a bad thing. If you asked me the one thing that I took out of that interview, it is that I actually feel that he is going to approach problems in this game from a very humanistic point of view.
Precisely.
Rare Earth says, I'm not going to fully count on it, but I get that same hopeful feeling. SKZ says, wishing him the absolute best, very, very truthfully. Parappa says, on the other hand, that trust has to be earned. Given the string of community management that we have had in the past, he does have a reputation to regain. And I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that is unfair. Not pointing fingers at any previous community manager, but just that his style is different. And let's face it, community reputation with Scopely right now is not 100% positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Scopely is ignorant to that fact. But they also have to know that morale might be a little down. Scopely knows they have an image problem. They know that they have a trust issue problem. I think Hammy might be the guy to turn that around. You know? I mean, Game Junior says he has a reputation from the private Discord, and he has done an absolutely great job there. Like, he has proven that he can do this. And I do agree, Lord Sunday, like, it's a whole new ball game in official. But me personally, this is just me personally, I don't necessarily, this is going to sound terrible, I don't necessarily care about official. I care about my community. I care about our player involvement, our community players, and I already feel like he's going to do great things for us. I'm not necessarily worried myself about official, though I know that he is, and that's his task, and that's his, you know, he's going to be very excited about that. But I think he is going to be very, very good for a large, broad portion of this game, and I'm looking forward to working with him. I really, really am. And, you know, Samo says they always say first impressions are everything. He has presented himself very, very well today, and I agree with that. Now, Divine, again, and I want to be super clear because, golly, both of them are watching. Both of them are in our chat. Beck and Echo have done a lot. They absolutely have, and they've done a great job. And I believe that it really came down to it was too much for two people to handle. Having that extra third warm body made a huge, huge difference. Having that extra third person to have the initiative and have the drive and have the passion to do what they all wanted to do together as a team, I think is actually a really good thing. I think Echo has done a phenomenal job at building the community team.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not knocking on him at all.
Just building on those foundations.
Exactly.
It's continuing on those foundations that have been set. Yeah.
I think that he does have a crutch in interviews. I'm going to get back to you on that. All right, but like a good leader does, he recognizes the strengths and weaknesses of his team, and look at Beck becoming such a huge foundation. I mean, Beck is the face of the game, for God's sake. There is literally nobody who interacts with this game from a social community standpoint that doesn't know who Beck is. He recognized that about her, and she has become a giant in the social media campaign for this game. And now we've got Hammy coming in, who is clearly a very profound professional speaker, able to be interviewed, able to have a conversation, able to be trusted to step into the community and be real with players. And now he's in that role. Listen, whoever is organizing this type of personnel shuffle over at Scopely is doing okay. They're doing a pretty good job. These people are working in their in their areas of strength. And I feel like that's why I'm optimistic and why I don't want it to seem like I'm knocking Echo. I think Hammy is going to be fantastic. I don't think it has anything to do with Echo not being fantastic. As a matter of fact, I think it's on the contrary. I think Echo has found the man for the job. And I think Echo feels a sense of relief that he can move on to do the other things that he's been wanting to do, the bigger projects that he's wanting to do, and know that Hammy's got this stuff under lock and key. I feel really good about it. I really, really do. I would love to welcome your guys' chat. If you guys have a hand up, you guys would like to come up. As a matter of fact, I think I've got Matters on the stage. I got Matters, Spectre from Server 11. Spectre, let me come to you just real quick. Your thoughts and opinions on the new community manager.
So I hope you'll give me a little bit more than a few seconds because this is, I think, important, DJ.
Fair.
You touched on the humanistic side of Obsidian Hamster, and I want to tell you a quick story. Unfortunately, my alliance mate is fighting for his life right now, and basically there was a decision made by the Admiralty to to get Scopely to archive his account, and I was able to work with Obsidian Hamster to get Scopely to archive his account. And I just think that kind of speaks to what you were saying about the humanistic side of Obsidian Hamster. And I really appreciate all that he's done so far for the community. One other thing I'd just like to touch on is in the historical context of the fall of the Soviet Union, there was two things, Glasnost and Perestroika. Glasnost was openness and Perestroika was restructuring. In the historical context, I think we're seeing a thing of Glasnost, of new openness and transparency with Obsidian Hamster. And I really think this is, as you said, a new dawn. And I really hope that all the community will benefit from it.
I hope so as well. Spectre, thank you for your comments. Matters, welcome to the stage, and you guys are more than welcome to raise your hand in our final moments. We'll get ready to wrap up here in the next few moments, but if anybody would like to sound off on an experience that you've had with Hammy or a comment about the game, are you motivated? It's weird that a not really related to the game, not related to gameplay, not related to exciting content, but the person that we now get to work with for the betterment of our game has given a lot of us, myself included, a lot of hope for the future, which is silly in a way, but maybe not. Do you feel that way? I'd like to ask Matters. Welcome to the stage. How you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks, DJ. Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, I hopped up here when you said people should hop up, and you've gone over so much. I agree with everything you said. I mean, he seems like a really straight guy. He seems like he's been playing the game for a long time, and he kind of knows the struggle that we're all kind of dealing with. Probably more so because he mines all the time. I mean, I can't imagine doing that.
Oh, God. He lost 2 points with me on that one, but I mean, really, PvP's busted, so what else is there to do? I mean,
right? Exactly. Zindi Modest, apparently.
Yeah, Zindi Armadas, yep, can't do those but once a year or two. So, but yeah, no, I get it. Like, he kind of alluded to the fact that he also agrees that, like, PvP leaves something to be desired, right? It's just kind of interesting to hear somebody who is that high a level, who is that involved in the game. He might be the first person we've ever publicly talked to who knows the game as well as he does and has advanced through all the generations. It's kind of interesting to me, I think. Matters, appreciate it, man. Dr. Juby, of course you would have comments. Dr. Juby, welcome to the stage. Are you here to make fun of our new community manager? Are you here to just throw into the wolves, or do you actually have a spark of warmth in that cold, dark heart of yours?
Oh, I'm actually very impressed with Hammy. He's actually a really good dude. I will say, not only is he very funny and he loves posting funny hamster memes, but when he says he's online and watching and willing to talk, he's legit online and watching and willing to talk. Whenever it's his turn in VIP to be there, he responds very fast, always is very cordial, and no matter what, like, you believe him when he says something. So if he transfers that over to official, he's gonna ace it.
It'll certainly be an improvement over what may be there now. So I do really appreciate everybody. Thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. It's been a fantastic show. It kind of came together. We've been working on this for a little bit. It kind of came together rather quickly. As a matter of fact, Tibbs, I saw earlier, and I really appreciate you rating in at the very beginning of the show. I really, really do appreciate it. He said it would have been nice to know about this. To be honest with you, up until about 24 hours ago, I didn't know for sure that this was going to be a green light tonight. So I was very, very happy. And again, I say maybe even a little bit surprised, Griffin, because again, and I have mentioned this to you, and I've been straight up honest about it, he approached us. He came to me and said, hey, I'm ready to do the show. I want to get out there. I want to talk to people, and I want to start on your stage. Like, the first time he said that, I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Just let me know whenever you're ready. And I kind of left it there. You know, I kind of really didn't do much else because I was in a little bit of a funk. And then he comes back to me like a week later. He's like, hey, man, wait on you. What let's look at a calendar. Like, he chased me down to put a date in the books. And I thought that said a lot to me. He wanted
Well, it's great to have somebody who is in charge of forward facing the community, reaching out to the community, and those like Rev and like you who have that constant daily communication with the community at this level. But remember, communication is a two-way street, and we've always, been good with this, though there have been struggles at times. That feedback is very important to offer in a positive and constructive way. And let's start this off, everybody, all of us, on the right foot, and not take this opportunity for granted, because we've always had people advocating for us, but now we have a triangle of bandwidth between the three of them where there is actually a chance to answer those questions and finally get back to us now that the three of them are at work on this. So let's take advantage of this. It's a fresh start. It's a fresh wind, and it's a chance for us to make 2024 a really awesome year in this game. So let's be positive and take advantage of that.
Yep, there you go. Hammy, according to Wham, is still waiting on the hand grenade of Antioch emote. You're going to have to fill me in. There's a story on that. As a matter of fact, he told me, and you know what? I regret not answering or asking him this question, just to give you an idea about the humorous nature of this guy. When we were talking about a few of the general topics that we wanted to talk about, one of them was Zindi Armadas. Okay, we talked about that. The Zindi Armadas. He said, "Oof, that is a tough question. Maybe better fielded by game design, but I will see if I can get you an answer. Perhaps we might have to skip that and ask like a super hard question like, where in Seattle is the best quesadilla joint?" All right. he said, let's talk about quesadillas for a minute, which tells me how connected he is. How funny is it that he is going to continue the trend of making fun of Echo and quesadillas? Okay, I think that's amazing. I think it's awesome. And I'm very
low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. First of all, he's in, okay? He knows what's going on. And he wanted to skip the Zindi Armada question in lieu of a quesadilla question. And yet still we got to the Zindi stuff. And I forgot to get to the quesadilla thing. So
has Hammy ever been mugged in front of a Best Buy?
Yeah, right. I'd like to know the answer to that question. So anyway, absolutely great time with this guy, Obsidian Hamster. It was a good time, a good interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Matter says, I'll be honest, this is the first time in a while that I've just parked and listened to the show. Not playing at the same time, not getting distracted making food, just listened to you guys talk about the game. It was an enjoyable experience. Thank you very much, Matters. I really do appreciate that. That's very, very kind. And I'm grateful to you guys. I'm grateful to Scopely. I'm grateful to Hammy for having faith and trust that this could have been a successful first public appearance for him, and I do believe that's exactly what it was. With that, we are going to get ready to bounce out of here tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you. And again, voice sounds better. Griffin, I'm sounding better, but still probably at like 90%. So I'm going to save the little bit of gas I have left in the tank and not do a crazy ending here. Cruzito said, is it better for us to watch this on Twitch instead of listening on Discord? I think Hammy and I did a very, I'm going to pat myself on the back for a second. I think we did a really good job at making this an enjoyable podcast to listen to. If you wanted to watch this on video, I think that you would catch a couple of humorous moments. But
that was a very sexy two-shot overlay.
It was, and thank you to Griffin. He's pointing that out because Griffin made it. Very, very nice side-by-side. Thank you for the overlay. Griffin made that for us. So I appreciate both audiences, but I think there was like literally no time tonight that we did anything that was visually required. You know what I'm saying? Like I know some people say Lord Sunday has said that he feels like the podcast has taken a backseat, and I never want that to be the feeling, although I know that some people might feel that way, and I'm sorry for that. It's just how I'm trying to balance and manage my time with the content that we've got to do. But I'll even say, even with the new schedule, we've committed 2 days a week to the podcast and 1 to Twitch. You know, Griffin, even with the new schedule, like I'm still trying to make that like, you know, the foundation, the core of where our audience came from is in long form radio. So I believe that what we did tonight with Hammy has visually pleasing elements. But
yo, I've got game breaking news for everybody. It's a simulcast. Every radio station has a
video aspect. That's true.
Via something X usually or Instagram. It's just a simulcast. It's 3 simulcast long form radio shows that you can watch if you want to.
You can. I mean, you're right. A lot of them do all now have the video stuff. You're right. They all have the video stuff now, but we still want to make it available in audio. And I think Hammy did a great job in his interview. His conversational format today was really, really good because he was able to hold a conversation. It was really, really nice to talk to him and actually be able to turn my mic off and take a swig of something to help my voice while he continued to talk. And it wasn't really a one-sided interview or a one-sided conversation. So I think it was really, really nice, and I look forward to a lot of great content with him in the future. And Rare Earth says, I like the podcast more, and it will continue to be available. I think Hammy did a great job tonight making it I'm making it into 2 shows. I mean, you will miss nothing by listening to the pod, but you'll gain a chuckle here or there if you watch the video, because he made a couple of faces, and I made a couple of faces, and then Hammy picked his nose. That happened. You can go
Screenshot.
back. Yeah. It happened. All right. With that, I'm going to. I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna go with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it. We're gonna end the show just right here. There. I'd like to thank all of you guys for being in our audience. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. No. Listen. The tapping the microphone, that was still a radio thing. You could still hear it. It was still killing me. Okay, still killing me. But I do appreciate all of you. Thank you so very much for being here. As we get ready to exit out here tonight, we are going to go and say hello to one of our fellow streamers. As a matter of fact, Captain Jesse, along with his band of merry misfits, that would be Miss Shauna Benson, Scribbler, Major Samo, Morbid John, and Dr. Iron Chef will be hosting your pre-ARC overnight. That is coming up Monday night starting at 11 p.m. Eastern. When we get done with our preview show with Beck Likes Plants, we'll be handing off to Captain Jesse and his crew, and he is online here tonight. So we will step on over and say hello to them as well. In the meantime, for our podcast audience, I thank you so very, very much. My name is Ultimate DJs. I am your friendly neighborhood cat person saying meow for now. We love you, and we mean it so very, very much. And I will never, ever do that again. Meow for now.
Now your voice is down to 7.2. Good job.
Long live and prosper. Have a great night, everybody. Catch you on the next one. Peace. All right, I got to bounce. I'm about to pee myself.
Great show, dude. Well done.
I can come back and chat for a second, but I'm literally about to pee my pants. I'll be right back.